welcome back. Let's talk my top 10 SPFs. It'll be a two-part video. First up tonight, obviously on Thursday, and then the following bit on Sunday. And it's been really tough to try and narrow them down. There are actually more than 10 here, but I'm going to talk about my favourites within each category. And I had to break them down into categories because we need tinted SPFs, some people need physical SPFs, some people want new generation gel SPFs, some people want sprays and lightweight everyday SPFs for their face, and then other people want hardcore sprays to go on holiday. Air bridges allowing. And most of my content about SPF has been actually created on IG, Instagram TV, in the last month. And so I'm long overdue an update on YouTube. So I'm going to do it in two parts to do it justice. And I'm going to let's start with tinted face SPFs. And the reason that tinted face SPFs are important is because in the summer, a lot of people wear them in place of foundation. And if you don't like either a heavy, occlusive, quite gunky SPF, and you want something quite light that blurs imperfections, but really doesn't give the coverage of a foundation, or if you're on holiday and you don't want to wear foundation, or you don't want a greasy, sort of messy face, and you're sort of maybe, sightseeing or in a city, these are perfect. And the advantage of the tinted ones is they tend to sit across a much broader spectrum of skin colours, because the tint just gives a sort of, almost like a, like Vita Liberata body blur. And I remember finding out that Rihanna used Vita Liberata body blur, not for the colour it gave her skin, but for that sort of almost soft focus, pore blurring, slightly sort of, not shimmer, but slightly sort of pore blurring perfection that it gives skin. And these, this is exactly what these do here. And I've got 4 here, and then I'm going to talk about my favourite one out of each one. Okay, so everybody talks about Heliocare Sun Touch Toque de Soleil, and I'm not a fan, I have to say. It doesn't suit my skin type. I find it too heavy, but oh my goodness, I love this. This is the Heliocare 360 Colour Gel Oil Free, and this is literally like a liquid foundation. I love the fact that it's pump action, and the fact that it's pump action means that you automatically know it's going to be lightweight, and that's what it looks like when it comes out. So it looks like a tinted moisturiser, a really lightweight BB cream. And I've got it all the way up my arm, and my arm doesn't look like it's got makeup on, it just looks like the imperfections have been softened. It's not formulated for your body, obviously, it's formulated for your face. There you go, one hand with it on, one hand with it without it. And I've got the bronze here, and I'll check how many shades it comes in, but it does come in quite a selection of shades to suit all skin types. And I think no matter obviously not if you're super pale, because obviously they do a clear one, but if you're sort of my colour or darker, and you want a tinted moisturiser but with an SPF in from a brand that is probably, from dermatologists, the most recommended SPF brand on the market, then this is the product for you. This is Heliocare 360 Gel Oil Free Bronze. I'll check the colour it comes in. This is the cult product that everybody likes. This is the Sun Touch Toque de Sol SPF 50. This is the one that Katie was mentioning. But you see, for me, it gives a slightly heavier, richer finish, and obviously in summer I like something super lightweight. I mean, the fact that I am sweating here and now says it all. I was laughing on Instagram earlier, and I've got the brand new By Terry Hyaluronic Pressed Hydra Powder, which is the pressed version of, it doesn't actually launch till July. That's the pressed version of the iconic, launched in 2012, mattifying but hydrating powder, because it's got microspheres of hyaluronic acid in. And this must be, I'm not kidding you, the 20th time I've done that to my panel today. And yet still it's not clogging in my pores. It's sort of strangely genius. Anyway, the other products I want to mention that I do like, that are more reasonably priced than Heliocare, because Heliocare is so expensive. I think the Bioderma SPF 50 tinted cream is really nice. It comes out sort of fairly beige, but when you put it on, I'm not sure if this is going to work on super dark skins, but it is lovely up until sort of Fitzpatrick 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. It's got that soft focus, pore blurring, and it's very gently tinted, but it's sort of tinted a sort of silvery beige. I know the term silver and beige is going to make any woman of colour run a mile, but I think if you can get in store and try it, it's really reasonably priced. And I really don't want you, I mean, why should you have to pay more for darker SPFs? By the way, and I have not been sent it, and it's American, there's a new range called Black Girls Sunscreens. And if anybody is out there who can put me in touch with the brand and get them sent across to me, and I know it's unfair because 80% of my followers are in the UK, but you know, of that remaining 20%, a lot of it are in America. And I just love the fact that it's called, I was talking to a friend about it, Black Girl Sunscreen, and it's just, it seems like a brilliant idea. So it's a sunscreen that everybody can use, but that will never go ghostly white or silvery or horrible on any skin tone. Nice product. It is a nice product. And then the other one was the one I mentioned in my IGTV, and this is SVR. Check out SVR. They are such a reasonably priced SPF range. I really like pretty much everything they do. And I particularly like this one because this is the Optical Blur Mousse Cream. That's what I mean, Optical Blur. Who doesn't want that? And when it comes out, and I said on my IGTV, you know it's not skin coloured because it's orange, it's emoji coloured, but it's beautiful. It's really lovely. It's a sort of mousse, optical blurring, pore blurring kind of a finish, and it's just, it's lightly fragranced, but it's really nice. It's more moisturising than the other one, so if you've got dry skin, that's a really nice one. Medium skin, that one, but dare I say it, Helio Care for the win. Oh God, it's good. Let's go on to gel sunscreens, because there have been a couple of gel sunscreens recently that I think are really interesting. Now, don't hold the name Supergoop against this amazing brand. There's an SPF 50 in America that I can't get hold of, but we have the SPF 30 here, and it's from Cult Beauty. So I think it's the only place you can get it in the UK. I'll put the link below. This is a gel SPF, and it's gorgeous. Supergoop has nothing to do with Gwyneth Paltrow. It's just called Supergoop because it's brilliantly named, and it's a super clear gel. Look at it there. And it's all kinds of lovely. This is for all over your body. It's very silicone-y, but I quite like that feeling. And what you end up with is you end up with that soft, velvety, non-sticky, nothing's going to attach to it, just loveliness. I suspect it probably doesn't go under makeup well because it's a silicone, and if you then layer silicone makeup on top, there's a chance it's going to pill. But if you're just going to put it on your face and protect your face in the sun, go running, work outside, apply it to your body, I love it. I really, really, really love it. I mean, it dries to a sort of velvety powder, which is my idea of the perfect SPF. And then the brand new one, by the way, all of these so far are chemical SPFs. I'm going to highlight if they become physical mineral SPFs. And then the brand new one on the market is Dr. Russo, and this is the once a day. I always worry about once a day claims. Yes, that's just me. I'm not a skincare scientist, but I worry about once a day claims. But this is a really nice product. This will be a nice product to take with you to top up during the day. And it's the Dr. Russo Once a Day Sun Protection Invisible Face Gel. And again, it's quite similar to Supergoop in texture. And I have a sneaking suspicion that this is a fairly new technology coming out of SPF Labs. And look at this. You push it up and it comes out in a brush. This would be so good on chests, bald guys that shave their head, noses, all that sort of stuff. It's a sort of yellowy tinted gel, which means it sort of disappears to nothing. It goes on super light, disappears. It feels slightly tacky for a few seconds and then disappears to nothing. And it's just a really clever product to keep in your bag. Like, you could put across your nose, you'd probably have to powder it again afterwards, but I really like it. Now, Dr. Russo is the guy that did the doctor that did the wash off sunscreen. Do you remember there was a phase where you could wash your face and it left behind an SPF? And this is the thing about SPFs, is all SPFs have to be put through a strict, rigorous testing where they have to be able to prove to offer you the SPF protection that they have. They can't just make claims like other beauty products can, because it's not a beauty product, technically it's a medical product. I always thought the wash-off SPF was a really clever idea, but I just didn't understand the oil in water, water activated, SPF water activated, hydro activated logic that it could give you the SPF you needed, but I did like it. I thought it was a really, really clever idea because I hate sticky SPFs. You will find nothing here that's thick and occlusive at all. So I do think Dr. Russo is at the cutting edge of SPF, but that's a nice product. It is a nice product, lovely. Once a day, I'm not so sure about. Lightweight gel, invisible, yes. See, it's just dried down to a very slightly sticky finish. That one's gone to nothing. Let's talk physical SPFs and why some people might need physical SPFs. I always recommend physical SPFs, unfragranced physical SPFs, to people who are super, super, super sensitive. So if you suffer from polymorphic light eruption, that's those sort of, and I've even had it occasionally when when I was younger. I used to lie in the sun for a long period of time. You get those sort of little red bumps that itch like crazy under the skin, and then occasionally you get that sort of, they're almost like little blisters, and they're not sunburn, they're literally your skin not being able to shed its sweat quick enough. I mean, the damage we did to our skin in the 70s and 80s doesn't bear thinking about. And I always say to people, if you've got a sensitive skin, if you're prone to acne, if you're prone to rosacea, if you're prone to sensitivity, if you're prone to polymorphic light eruption, if you just don't like sitting in the sun, an SPF, a mineral SPF, I mean, traditionally they were quite thick and quite silvery and quite gunky. They've been micronized now, and they are actually applicable for most skin colours now. Again, it's hard for me to test because, look, I can only test them on my skin because I'm sitting here in lockdown. But they are an important thing to look out for. So I wanted to do a quick ode to my favourite physical sunscreens. They're all expensive, I'm so sorry. But they are great, all of them. Ren do an amazing one. This is the Ren Clean Screen Mineral SPF 30 Clean. I've got problems with the term clean in beauty. I've also got questions over the whole reef thing, because I follow Michelle Labmuffin and she did a deep dive into it and I trust her implicitly. And she's just basically saying that I know that they were banned in certain places in Hawaii, but they're not actually a huge problem in terms of the reefs and people going out in them. So I think it's a little bit marketing hype, but it's still a great product. No matter how it's been marketed, it's beautiful, it's mattifying. Hello! Face sunscreen, broad spectrum. It's a zinc oxide one, and it is an SPF 30. Really nice. This would be a great one for guys and people like me that like a matte finish. It goes on like a sort of, it feels almost like a thick cream consistency, and that's a typical sort of micronized mineral SPF, and then suddenly it goes in and it's mattified and it's sort of stuck in place. You need to be fairly quick and fairly efficient in applying it because it doesn't keep slipping, because it's essentially mattifying, but once it's on and it stays put, and it's lovely. It's really, really nice. Lightly fragranced, but not troublingly so. The other one I really like is the Dermalogica one. I'm so sorry, these are expensive. The Invisible Physical Defense SPF 30 is really nice. It's just a lovely product. It's strikingly similar to the Ren one. Probably, oh sorry, just knocking off my makeup brush there. Probably slightly more emollient. The matte one it feels like it's going on like that, but then this one continues having slip, and the Ren one tends to go on the skin and then dry down really quickly. Probably nicer for a slightly drier skin, but again, you see, even when it dries down, you get a nice kind of, the thing about a mineral SPF, it does have a very slightly, and I know that they work in a really similar way to the chemical sunscreens. It's actually a myth that they just reflect UV rays back, but they do have a sort of, people put titanium and zinc dioxide in foundations for a reason, and that's because they have a slightly sort of blurring effect on the skin, which I think is quite attractive. It lessens imperfections. My favourite one by far, and I hate saying this because it's expensive, but I love it, and there is a reason that L'Oreal do such great SPFs, and that's because they own SkinCeuticals, and they own La Roche-Posay, and they own Garnier, and they own L'Oreal, and they share their technology. This is just perfect. It is the SkinCeuticals Sheer Mineral UV Defense SPF 50, and it's like milk, so lightweight. And the advantage, another advantage, despite the fact that you might not have sensitive skin, look how runny it is. I'm going to leave that to run down my arm and show you how runny it is, and I love that, because you know I love that texture, because I love Curel and I love Japanese ceramide lotions, and I love liquids. I love Indeed Hydration Booster. That's that technology, but with an SPF in. Now, the advantage of this is it can go right up and around the eyes. A physical SPF, unfragranced, is much more likely to go well around the eyes, not wick into the eyes, and not give you that crazy stinging that you get with a lot of SPFs. Chemical SPFs, and everything's a chemical, I know, but they just tend to wick into the eyes, and this doesn't. Look, you see, but look, it does have a slight, look at that ghosting on my arm there, which means it's probably not applicable to all skin tones, but my God, it's lovely. It's really lovely. It's like a milk with a sort of, it's got that sort of see-through slip to it, which I think is the solvent that they use. Also, please don't worry about alcohols in SPF. I know people worry about alcohols in SPF, and the reason they worry about it is because alcohol has been demonized in skincare. What alcohol does in a lot of products, but specifically SPFs, is it allows the product to go on really lightly, relatively thinly and evenly, and then the alcohol basically allows it to have slip and spread, and then the alcohol basically just comes off, but it leaves behind the fatty acids, the humectants and the emollients that the SPF sits in. So it allows an even surface of SPF, which is what you need. You don't know when you put your SPF on, you don't need it all to sit in one place. You need it to go all over, which is why you should apply your SPF for 10 minutes before it goes out, because the SPF goes on the skin and then it just slowly sort of spreads out a little bit. Imagine it the way hyaluronic acid works on your skin. It sort of just slowly infuses, not into the skin, but across the surface of the skin. I hope I'm not simplifying for all those people out there that are formulating chemists things. What the ding's going on about? Anyway, I love it. Two others I want to give a nod to. Drunk Elephant are obviously really anti-chemical SPFs. I don't know why chemical SPFs are demonised. It's ridiculous, it's absolutely crazy, but this is a really nice product. This is an SPF 30 Umbra Sheer Physical Daily Defense, and it is a sort of really nice, lightweight, sort of sits somewhere, it's more like the sort of Ren one, but sits somewhere between the mattifying effect of the Ren and the sort of Dermalogica one, and it's nice. It's expensive, but it's nice. Again, there's not a lot of choice if you want an SPF, a physical SPF, because they're hard to formulate and get nice slip. You know, back in the day, they used to be horribly silvery and ghosty, even on me. And what am I, Fitzpatrick, 2.5, 3? Anyway, that's the scale of skin colour. And then Soleil Toujours, which is one of my, and will be in Sunday's video, which is one of my favourite body brands. I really love Soleil Toujours. They do the best spray-on super light SPFs for the body, and a little miniature one that I use on my face, even though I got told off last year. They do have a little face SPF, physical, 45, and the principle is, you see, very similar. The principle is that you would want something slightly fragranced and a chemical sunscreen on the body for ease of use, to keep it lightweight, and that your body is generally less sensitive than your facial skin. But on the face, they accept the fact that somebody might want an SPF 45 in a lotion that's got a physical sunscreen in it, and this is really nice. If I show you what it's like, it's thicker than the SkinCeuticals one, and it does have a slight, it's much more like, it's got a very, very similar texture to the Ren one, in that it's quite thick when it goes on, and it dries to a soft focus finish, but I just don't think it's going to be usable for a darker skin tone than mine. It's nice. It's a really nice product. It's quite moisturising. It's much more moisturising than the SkinCeuticals one. I just don't think, it's very hard. I'm going to do a live with Stephen, who's a formulating chemist, and he was talking about how hard it is for people of colour, women of colour, men of colour, to use anything with a physical sunscreen, and it's why you have to use the micronized ones. So when I do the live, I flag it up here in my community, my Facebook community, and you can watch it. I also always encourage you to follow me on Instagram, because I do create different content on Instagram. There's a crossover, obviously, but I just do a lot more sort of informal, chatty stuff on Instagram. They are my first tinted gel and physical SPFs. video. And then on Sunday, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do instant, easy, spray on, idiot proof. Just stick it on and go on holiday, stick it on and, you know, go walking, go running out for your body, because I do like a spray on product for my body. I hate feeling sticky. I hate feeling sticky. And then I'm going to list my absolute favourite 2 launches of this year. One is a spray on SPF for the face that you can put on top of makeup. And then the other one is just the best, without a doubt, SPF 50 I've ever tried for my face. It's a gorgeous lotion. Both of them are unfragranced. Both of them are for the L'Oreal group. That's all I'm saying. Again, you see, that's what happens. Where is it? Where's it gone? I put it back in the wrong box. That's what happens if you own that company. You get to basically use all their technology and their brilliant formulations and make them available on the high street. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I'll put all the details of the products down below. Will you carry on a conversation with each other and let me know which SPFs you love? And please recommend all your favourite Japanese and Korean SPFs, because we don't get them in the UK. And I hear that they are amazing and I wish we could get more over here. The problem is that the US, the EU and Japan have distinctly separate ways of measuring their SPFs. They're, not to say one is better than the other, but when it comes to marketing things, sometimes you have to pay for twice the sets of tests, the proof that you use the SPF and that you can give the protection that you need. And some brands just can't afford that. So you can go on Amazon and buy Japanese SPFs, but because the Japanese and the Koreans are obsessed with waters and gels and lotions and essences, I hear that there's some amazing SPFs out there and I want to know what they are. You tell me so I can buy them off Amazon. You have to buy them from Amazon Global anyway. So there you go. They are my tinted SPFs, they are my physical SPFs, and they are my gel SPFs. And if I was to choose my favourite one for each, yes, okay, let's do this. That's my favourite tinted one, Helio Care. It's the new gel oil-free colour. I'll find out how many shades it comes in. That would be my favourite physical SPF. That's the SkinCeuticals Sheer Mineral UV Defense SPF 50. And that would be my favourite gel SPF. Go and suss out Super Goop at Cult Beauty. Love it. Really, really love it. I would happily use that on my face as well. I would happily use any of those on my face and body. The tinted ones obviously are just for face. Coming Sunday, the easiest, most idiot-proof spray on and go body SPFs, and my all-time launches this year: 2 face SPFs, an SPF 50 to put under your makeup that goes brilliantly and works really well and is for the most sensitive skin and doesn't go in your eyes, and then a top-up spray that you can put on top of makeup to keep you going on the run. I'm going to go and lie down in a cool, darkened room and reapply some more of this. This is the By Toilet Terry, let me credit that again, hyaluronic pressed hydro powder. It's amazing. Thank you, Terry de Ginsberg, who created Touche Éclat, by the way. There you go, that's how iconic she is. Stay tuned, Sunday, part 2 of my SPF.